strategies for those students who are more than one grade level behind. And I think in the last few years, we're really starting to see students who are more and more behind, just given the last few years of school and schooling.
Yeah, for students who are multiple grade levels behind, these are students that are really going to struggle with accessing the content in itself, right? And that's one of the pillars of differentiation. You can differentiate content, process, or products, right? So I would say start with differentiating the content. And the way you do that is you provide explicit instruction and you provide scaffolding. Now that scaffolding may look and sound differently depending on the student's needs. You have students that do really, really well with visual aids, whether it's scaffolded notes, whether it's anchor charts, whether it's whiteboards, right? You have other students that do really well with manipulatives because they're kinesthetic learners and they need hands-on support, right? And then you have students that might need everything. They might need explicit modeling, those think out louds. They might need the guided notes in front of them. They might need a graphic organizer. They might need the manipulatives, right? So one thing to keep in mind is when you're providing these scaffolds, something that I struggled with my first year was creating a plan of when I'm going to gradually take away those scaffolds as well. I think that's sometimes the missing piece. When do you plan on removing the support when the student becomes proficient enough to do the work independently without those supports? But for students who are multiple grade levels behind, I would start with really adjusting the content, providing scaffolds, visual aids in the graphic organizer, tiering the support, visual aids, manipulatives, things like that.
So if I'm adjusting the content, where do I even start with that?
I would say leveling questions. So as math teachers, different states have different expectations, right? There's some states that you get certified in your actual content area, but if you're a special education teacher and you're like, I'm new to teaching Algebra 1, what does it mean to scaffold equations, right? You want to take a look at the actual standard and unpack it, right? What that means is if the standard said the students need to be able to solve multi-step equations, okay, what are the prerequisite skills to students being able to get to that standard? Okay, they need to be able to distribute on their own. They need to be able to combine like terms. They need to be able to see variables on both sides, right? Once you start unpacking a standard, you're going to make maybe 4 to 6 objectives that are prerequisite skills for that standard, right? Then when you're creating the content, that's how you level it. You may have students that, they can distribute, but they're not ready to combine like terms, and that's okay. That might be your tier 3. Then you have students that know how to distribute, but they struggle with combining the like terms. Okay, let's focus on that. And then you have students that have a better grasp of the concepts, but they struggle with variables on both sides, right? So it really starts with you unpacking the standard and thinking about how you're going to level it. What does it mean for level 1? What does it mean for level 2? What does it mean for level 3? And oftentimes that work is best done in a